Hi everyone, and thank you for subscribing to my channel. Today I want to speak about mass surveillance. Is it on the way in Ireland? Let me know what you think in the comments in this video as well to what I'm about to discuss. This follows a parliamentary question that was asked by James Gael, who's a Fine Gael TD for Dublin Bay South, to the Justice Minister Jim O'Callaghan, looking for the number of Gardaí Síochána controlled CCTV in Dublin City. Now, O'Callaghan responded to Gagan to say there's over 209 cameras that are in control by Gardaí Síochána throughout the Dublin metropolitan area. This dwarfs in terms of the numbers internationally, and of course Gagan made reference to this in terms of the use of cameras, say for instance across the water. You can look at Westminster, areas like Fulham and Hammersmith as well, that have a significant amounts of cameras per head of population. And of course, the Garda Síochána state there's one for every 6,000 people in Dublin. And of course, they have access to Dublin City Council cameras. They have over 400 cameras. Most are affixed to traffic lights around the city. Probably up to 60–70% of them are affixed to traffic lights across the city. And of course, they have access to that. And also, they have access to business cameras. Now, this came under the legislation back in 2023, which is the Garda Síochána Recording Devices Act, which compelled businesses to provide a live feed to Garda Síochána of events over a 72-hour period. So they have quite a bit of access to recording devices already under the current legislation, as I've outlined. Of course, using the Dublin City Council cameras and their own cameras as well. But of course, this isn't good enough for Gagan. And it's interesting because Gagan was the man who headed up the Dublin task force and pushed it into play when he was Dublin City Lord Mayor. And of course, the task force was headed up by a man by the name of David McRedmond, who was dead set on privatising on Pust, and of course is a complete and utter member of the very rich in Irish society on a massive salary. And of course, they're looking for pay increases, coincidentally, while the cost of living supports are being cut for ordinary people. But listen, for these commercial semi-states, it's a different rule, and of course Gagan will support them. But also Gagan was also recently appointed as spokesman for Dublin by Simon Harris. Isn't that interesting? So he's now the lead man for Fine Gael in Dublin City. And according to Harris, he said that Gagan will drive the agenda for change. Let's see what this agenda for change is. More mass surveillance on the way for the citizens of Dublin. And also, Gagan, when he ran for election in 2021, that he didn't get elected in for Dublin Bay South during that time, he was pushing a 15-minute city. He's been doing videos on a 15-minute city and said this is the way to work. Everybody should have everywhere within their close proximity. And he's been driving the agenda for change in terms of so-called sustainability and investing in cycleways and pedestrian infrastructure. And of course, he did a big pronouncement with Hildegarde Naughton. Hildegarde Naughton, a Fine Gael member as well, a minister back in 2021, who was pushing and said that over €1 million a day was being spent on cycling and pedestrian infrastructure around Ireland. So as I said, this is a drive towards mass surveillance, and it ties into what's been going on with Minister for Justice Jim O'Callaghan's brief, the drive towards facial recognition technology, which has major ramifications for basic rights and civil liberties. But of course, the answer will be from the political establishment to say that, well, we have to catch up with our European partners. We have to look at countries like Italy, like for instance in Rome, where there's 4 cameras operated per 1,000 of the population. And of course, maybe other countries, it says like London, but it's 14 per 1,000 of the population as well. And really, fundamentally, do we want to move that way? It's really dystopian to look at when you consider the drive towards the Orwellian agenda that's happening. It's really 1984 in 2025. And also, it has major ramifications for anybody's privacy, because we've seen the use by the state or any nefarious forces for biometric mass surveillance. We've seen this, for instance, people not attending protests because they're afraid of getting recognised at those protests, or not even self-censoring because they're afraid of speaking out or being seen in various locations where they're standing up for and exercising their basic rights. But it's very important to realise how we got our rights. They were not offered on a plate or given to us by any benevolent leader. They were struggled for and won. You can look back through the history of time in terms of the real history, internationally and here in Ireland, in terms of the struggle for Irish independence, but also we can look at the drive across the world. We see it across the water with the Chartist movement. You can see it with the time of the suffragette movement, where women had the right to vote and struggle for that. And of course, all these rights were won through struggle. And fundamentally, change comes from our communities, comes from the grassroots up, and not these top-down diktats that claim to make you safe and protect you, rather than dealing with the underlying causes of crime in terms of preventing these measures by clamping down on inequality, really supporting communities that are disproportionately left behind. And if you look at the positioning of these cameras, the vast majority, the overwhelming majority of these Gardaí Síochána cameras are in working class communities, unsurprisingly. There's up to 33 of these cameras that are in Tala. There's over 65 in the north inner city in around O'Connell Street in this area, so about a third of those cameras are located in that region. And of course, Pearse Street as well, up to 20 to 30 of these cameras are located in that area as well. So if you consider where's the location of these cameras and what will happen in terms of the attacks on our basic privacy and our basic rights, and we can see the drive towards more dystopian Orwellian times day by day with the bigger picture stuff that's happening in Irish society. But it's fundamentally important to be aware of what's going on. A lot of the mainstream media won't cover this, they won't talk about it, they won't connect it, they'll make it's for your safety, it's for your protection, but it's vitally important. Who does it really ultimately serve, and who does it support, and who does it embolden and support the status quo rather than looking at the interests of ordinary people? And let me know in the comments what you think of this as well. And thanks again for everybody who continues to comment and share on my videos as well. I'm very grateful. And also for everybody who continues to subscribe to my channel. My channel has grown, and it's thanks to all your support that it's grown, and I'm very grateful and thankful to each and every one of you. So from Dublin, Slán, and take care. Talk to you all soon. Bye bye.